Hello, so welcome back, guys. So I'm going to be now before I start my sculpting. There's something I always do, like some kind of color correction on the reference image to kind of accentuate some of the landmarks of the face, some subtle landmarks and some major landmarks of the face to enable me do a proper sculpt. So I would go to each image, then I would add a camera raw filter. I'll add a camera raw filter to each image to kind of make the shadows pop out in regions where has some kind of depth to it. So I'll be showing you guys that now in a bit. So with our camera raw filter on, I will do this. So I'll just play with these settings until I get what I need. Though for the most part, what I actually need to adjust is just this. I believe is these textures, something like this. Adjust some of this. Now I can see something happening here. I can see a form here. I can see something around here also. Then a depth in here. I'm going to be showing you guys my reference board for. Okay, let me just do that now so you guys can see. So if I should pull out the head model, should have something in here. Yeah, this should work. So if you notice you would see this form in here, this depth in here, a depth in here, and then if I now this particular one is for a male character, just subtle difference for a female character. If you notice a depth in here also in here, so I'm going to be putting that here in here also. For each character, the distance is usually different and the depth is usually different depending on each character or likeness you're sculpting. So I'm going to be following this skeletal example for the head to kind of get the actual depth and forms I need on my model. So I need to pull out. Okay, yes. Now if we use this is another good example. Now for this, see this bone in here. For my model, you can tell this is right here. This is right here, and there's also a separation in here. There's a separation in here where you can see these fat pads for our cheek region. Separation in here. This depth you have in here is what you have across here. Is what you have across here. Then the flesh fills up this place. Some fat parts in here which you can't really see in here because of this. Because looking at the skeleton itself, there's another demarcation in here. If you notice this, almost like a straight line going from around this meeting point, this point of the eyes, straight down, straight down. It's not really a straight line going down there, but if you kind of use that as a measurement to kind of draw out a line in there, though keeping account of each particular character has a different form and shape and thickness and fat pads in there, so you have to be really careful, especially when you're working for a likeness. So what I'm trying to do is just adjust the colors of this image with camera raw filter to kind of accentuate those forms for me to actually see what is in there. So what's it going to be going back to our anatomical references to figure out where needs to be sculpted in, where needs to have more depth compared to the other parts of the face. So going back in here, let me just push this by the side. I think I should have an image that shows some fat parts. I believe I do. So I found a better example to kind of explain. So now look at this. So okay. You can see this pad going around the eyes. You can find that here around this region in here. So you can see another fat pad from this nasolabial fold in here that goes around like so. So keeping account of that too. Then this region in here also, you can see how it goes in like an S curve back into the ear. So something similar to that also, we're going to be creating that also back into the ear. So I'm just trying to make these forms kind of pop out in a reference image as much as I can, so it will be easy for me to interpret into my sculpt. So putting this back here, just trying to get this as much as I can. No, yeah, this is good enough. As you can see, as you can see, there's some depth now popping out in some of those regions. Some of the depth popping out, a clear depth popping out in form of shadow information. As you can see also, we also have a separation here also. You can see some kind of slight depth in here too. And you can see more of the depth in here. You can see how far it goes. You can see how far it goes all the way like so, like a triangle, like a point here, another point here, another point here. Then we can draw out our triangle. Something similar. We should have something similar in here also. Yes, you can see like that triangular form in here. Though for each character is always different. For each face is always different. So the size and proportion are always different. But you can see the triangle. One, a dot. We're not going all the way down here. Anyways, we're not going all the way down here. But you can see a triangle forming here. These points, these points, these points, all the way back to the origin point. So keeping that in mind when sculpting your characters. So now for you, I think this is fine. So this is definitely fine. I can see all the forms. I can see most of the forms popping out in here now. Maybe I should not so dark. Something like this should be fine. So I'll click OK on this. So I'm going to be saving two variations of this. This is the original image itself, and then the edited one on top of this. So we're done for that. So let's go to the next one. The next one. Go to our camera raw filter again. We just want those forms to kind of pop out, so yeah, it's easier for us to interpret and then translate that into our 3D model. So just for the face alone, okay, so freeze this. As you can see, the folds are more obvious now. I see this line in here, I see this line in here, I see another separator line in there, separator line which is now we have this here, first line up here, is what we have around here, most underneath the eye bag. And then second separator line is what this second separator line that goes all the way into the sockets is what we have in here, like so. Is what we have in here. As you can see, playing with the settings in camera filter helps us identify those lines properly, so we can actually sculpt them in. If you look at the nose, Look at the nose, you can see a separator line in here. You can kind of get an idea of that also in here. You can see another separator line in here. You can kind of see a shadow of that in here also. So keeping that in mind, it enables us to do a better sculpt on our model. You can see the depth in here. You can see this depth in here. Depth in here is what we have also here. Then going below the lips. Now for this particular reference in our reference board, we have this. I actually don't know the original names of these things, but if you follow along, you just notice that most of the face shapes on the human head are mostly different forms that has a particular certain organic shape to it. So if you notice in here you have more distance in here. There's more distance in here compared to this, though taking into account the angle of how tilted our head is, taking that into account, but we can say in an average way that the distance here is wider compared to the distance in here. Maybe if we have a, let me see if, okay, okay, okay. So I think let us continue with the adjustment for this. So I would like to darken that a bit more so I can actually see those. This is fine. So I'll click OK on this. Okay. I'll go to our next. So I'll be doing this for the entire. I think we did not adjust this image. Okay. Well, it doesn't matter that much. I already have the major reference images I'm going to be using. Okay. Just trying to see if I can get this on a face on. Okay. Kind of average this out. Just kind of average this out a bit. Okay. So I'll do the same for this. I'm not going to do the same for every single image. So you can do the same thing also for your model, so long it's for your reference image rather. So long you can see those forms I'm talking about in there, then it's fine. Then you can also save those out. So I'll be back when I'm done with this. So now I have all my images saved out. So now I brought them out to my reference board. So these are the completely normal images without it being edited. Then we have our edited images in here for me to kind of read the forms. So now we need a base mesh for our head model. So I already have some base mesh in here with the correct proportions and length of a real life human head. So I'm going to be using this film. Okay, let me pull this out. So I already have some measurement for this already. So if I should review this, okay. So the average human hair is around 24 to 25 centimeter. 24 to 25 centimeter, the average human head. So this was the rescale value I found online. So I use this to kind of line up or size up the heads I have in here. So yeah, it's good enough for me to use for my to use as a base mesh for sculpting, because you always you need to have the accurate proportion. So when you're bringing it into Maya to render, right off the bat you can just start plugging in some Arnold shaders or V-Ray shaders and begin to use accurate units for the rendering, so it will save you a lot of time. So I have this all planned out already before now. So I'm going to be using this. I think this male head, this female head should be from 3D scan score, I believe. It should be from 3D scan score. 3D scan score. So I'm going to be exporting this out as OBJ. Export it out as OBJ into the into my document for this particular character. So I'm going to create a new folder and name this Z imports. Okay, so I'll copy this part. I'll copy this part in here and then I'll just paste this in here. So OBJ. Let me just name this girl head. So then back to not back. Now in ZBrush, I'm going to import this head into ZBrush. So first of all, let's create a default shape. Click on this twice. Change this to, okay, it won't work. Okay, let's convert this into an editable poly. So click this, edit, come in here, make poly mesh 3D. So now we can start working on this. So I'm going to import my base model into this. So I will go to import, and I'll just paste in my previous copied file file channel of 5 parts, rather 5 parts. Then drop this in here. So right off the bat we have this. I still need to do one more thing. I think I need to go to documents, I will double this. It's not completely necessary that you do this, but I want to. I think I was supposed to do this from in here. So regardless, let me just double that. Regardless, it won't really matter that much. Let me just double this. Draw out my head model. Control N. Draw out my head model. Save. Draw out my head model. Edit. Make poly mesh 3D. I think we're good now. Yes, we're good. Then I need to delete this. Go to the other files or sub tool and delete this. Delete. I'll delete this also. Then good. So another very important thing to note is our camera settings. Our camera settings. I think I messed things up again. Let's import that. Let's import that model back in here. Okay. Okay. So now the next thing for us to do is to adjust the camera setting, which is highly important, very very important. So before doing that, let's go to perspective mode by hitting P on the keyboard. Go to perspective mode, and then for our camera settings, we're going to be using an 85mm focal length for this. Then one extra thing I like to do is to increase this. I don't know the technical explanation behind this, but I realized that increasing this for me helps me get a better good eye sculpt on my character. So I'll just increase this all the way to 5. You can see there's a slight change. If you notice, there's a slight change. So I usually leave this around 5. Okay, so this is good. One more thing I would like to do is to reduce the poly count by a lower division. So let's see if we can do reconstruct on this. So unable to do reconstruct on this. Okay, I think we have no choice but to just work with this model as it is, because I always prefer to work with a more lower subdivision level, so I can make so I can move so I can kind of have lower resolution to work with and have more control over my model. But it's all good. This is still fine. So I'm just going to save out my file. I want to save this out. I don't really have a name for her yet, so I'll just save this out as Pinterest girl, as girl Pinterest, because I got the references from Pinterest, so I'll save it to that. So in the next lesson, we're going to start manipulating the various forms on this model to create something. But the idea is to create a likeness of this, but let's see how far we can go with this model by kind of using these our references to create something similar or even a good likeness for this model. So I'll see you guys in the next lesson.